We are back. The children are in the holidays, so this is an interesting season for most parents. For some, stress iko kwa kichwa ni I have to multiply the food that has been cooked in this house for the past few months, and now it has to go double. They are eating every single minute. For some, it's wondering, hey, they have too much, free time. What will they do? How can I engage them to ensure that they don't just waste their time before they go back to work? For some, they feel like you need to be studying because the next, kama unaingia form 2 or you're moving to the next grade, that means that things are going to get tighter. So definitely it's an interesting season with a lot running in the minds of the parents. But that's why we have Paps Wanyugi here with us today, so that she can help us to know what are we supposed to be focusing on when the children are in the holidays. How do we maximize the time with them and ensure that we are creating the impact that we need to create? Because when they are in school, you are assured that everything is going on well. They are in school, they are eating, they are sleeping, they are learning. But when they come home, it's a different organization altogether. So that's why we're going to be having this conversation today, because it is an opportune time for us to break it down now that the children are home for the holidays. Karibu sana, Paps.
Asante.
How are you?
I am fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Lord is with us.
Amen.
Yeah, the Lord is with us on the parenting side. What you shared, I'm just thinking, the Lord is with us. Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, but I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Yeah, to just chat about this. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. We are glad to have you once again.
Me too.
Again and again. It's always a joy when we get to have a sit down with you.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe let the people know who Paps is.
Yeah, so my name is Paps Wanyugi. I am a confidence and wellness coach, working with families and corporates in Africa. Yeah, and also an author, a psychologist. Yeah, and married to James, mother of 4 wonderful kids. Yeah, I love saying we are 25% empty nesters. Yeah, our first one is 24, 20, 11 and a half, and 7 and a half. Okay, and a half is a bit on the lower side, because they'll be turning ages in February and March respectively. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Beautiful. 4 is a handful.
Yeah, 4
different
is a handful.
Generations.
Different generations. And of course different, by the different age brackets.
Yeah.
So we are still parenting everyone. Their own different unique sets. And this year we had 2 candidates. We had grade 6. Crystal is 11, and then Jose is in Form 4, so he's still battling it out in Kiambu High. And then we were all there to celebrate this milestone. So this year has been quite something for us.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And I think when we can look back at the many wonderful things that the Lord has done for us throughout the year, amid the challenges, amid the ups and downs that we've gone through.
Oh, and Monday we turned 13 in marriage. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Monday
Look
was
at
our
that.
13th anniversary with James, so we are also grateful for
that.
that.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, most of you probably know James Wanyugi, who has been breaking things down for us here in Matters Finances. So, I mean, this house is very well balanced, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Yes, but, let's get down to today's conversation about children are in the holidays right now. The homes have become noisy, probably this
and the neighborhood,
I'm telling you, I mean, kids are screaming left, right and center. But I think it's important for us to get down into this conversation, because sometimes inatukutanga tu by surprise. But talk about the importance of the holiday season. How can we ensure that as parents we are preparing for it?
I think first of all the premises is just start on Psalms 127. The children are a heritage and a reward from him. And heritage is something cultural, tradition, something generational, something sentimental. And that is what we are doing. One day we were the younglings that were running around for these 2 months. I think Kitambo, the holiday used to be 1 month, the whole of December. And then now, since COVID happened. But to just remember that we have been a heritage when we were children. Even right now, we are still children. And we are building heritage in terms of this is how the stories will be told in generations to come. And so every day they are home, just remember that we are writing stories. We are writing stories. We are writing stories of God. We are writing stories of our generations.
Yeah.
You know, and those stories, we write them involuntary because we are alive. You know, so that is one of the best things that happens in holidays. You know, we
Yes.
stay alive. You know, it's not about having magical holidays, you know, and sometimes we actually feel the pressure because you're like, okay, can they do something every day? What will we do?
Yeah,
what
yeah,
will happen?
yeah.
It's just that part of remembering. So long as we are alive, we are writing stories. You know, and we're writing God's stories. And it
Yes.
means that it's not pressure on me to make sure I am doing something. I need to remember God is doing something. You know, even this holiday, God is doing something.
Yeah.
God is teaching my children, reminding ourselves, Isaiah saying, our children shall be taught of the Lord and great shall be their peace. God is teaching them. God is journeying with them. And for me, these 2 months, I mean, I am on that side as well
Yeah.
in terms of having 2 kids at home right now. And the third one will be coming on 20th November. And it's that part of me reminding myself that these 2 months, they're such a blessing. You know,
Yeah.
instead of feeling anxious, I actually want to choose gratitude and also to choose intentionality
Wow.
in terms of how can God use me? How can God use us? How can God work in our family in these 2 months? And so we've already started our drills. So one of the first thing we did when we closed school was, let's sit around the table. Hey, so this is 2 months. What do you think we should do? You know, what will happen in these 2 months? And I was like, can we list down 50 things we can do?
Hey,
That was an
50.
overkill. So
Yeah.
after she's done, I've only done 15 and this is 2 pages. I was like, okay, yeah, that was ambitious. Let's do 25. You know, in terms of things you want to do, places you want to go, activities you want to do, chores that need to be done. What have I been talking about and it's not happening yet? Yeah, can we put that down on the list? Schoolwork. What do you want to do? Of course, Crystal is feeling like, I'm done with, I was a candidate, I'm done. And so right now, I am done.
Yes.
Studying is not on my list. And for me, I'm like, yeah, please take your break. You've been doing many Saturdays back to back with the revision and everything. Our son has a homework book. And so it's that part of, I usually say the principle of holiday is 70% structured, 30% freestyle. You know, and you make sure that that applies for everyone.
Yeah.
In a way, they understand what is structured and what is not. And of course, for us, you remember when I was talking about our screen situation, but then we got a TV and a big one for that matter. But I just love the way, because of TV not being the center of our family all these years, even now, we've had it for 2 months and it's not the center of our family. In terms of it can be off and we are okay. Like on Monday, many Mondays I'm usually home. Like Mondays are usually my chill days to some extent. And so like this Monday, I think we didn't switch on the screen the whole day. I was home.
Wow.
So we woke up, I had makeup, which took 1 hour. Yaniv was doing the brows and we were taking videos. So one was a videographer, the other one was a makeup artist.
Yes.
Did makeup and then after that, baked. No, first of all, we started with Bible study in the morning. And of course, Bible study is, Yaniv has this Bible he needs to get through this holiday. Every morning when he wakes up, before breakfast, Bible study. And then after the Bible study, we watched something related to that. And then switched off the TV. And then we composed even a song. Yeah, but then we even did a voice recording of the song. In a way, we presented to James in the evening.
Yeah.
Then after that, did our makeup and then baked. And then went strolling in the neighborhood. You know, in a way, it was off screen, but it was very quality. And I think watching those videos yesterday was actually like, we really had fun, you know, especially just capturing those moments. We were not taking them to post them anywhere, you know, because I am not on social media this year. So there's no excitement of, I'll put this on WhatsApp or anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's capture it. Let's live out this moment. And it's just that part of reminding ourselves that God is the one who is working in our families. I think that is, for me, is the bottom line. And to be perceptive in terms of how is God working, how can I come alongside what God is doing in our family this holiday? You know, what are some of the God moments that we can create? Yeah, so for us, it's line up of those 25 things we need to do and then break them down. So Crystal, because she's the older one, broke them down into weekly things in terms of, and I was like, let's plan for just 1 month. November, what can we be doing week by week? Make a schedule for yourself and for Yaniv. And of course, it's not cast on a stone, but then it gives a bit of guidance and direction. Yeah, so that is how I feel it's playing out so far.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, thank you for letting us in and telling us about your version, like literally what is happening. And all I hear is intentionality, because we can just let the days go by doing nothing, and everyone is spending jamani, a very long time on social media, and everyone is just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Actually, talk about that. What is the danger of the holidays being so, occupied with us scrolling while we are in the house? Because you find situations whereby you're all in the sitting room. All together for the first time in a long time, by the way. You have finally gotten that moment when everyone is around, dad, mom, the children, but everyone is on their phones and everyone is scrolling. Talk about why that is not a good way to handle the holiday season.
So I will throw in one word called brain dump. Remember that everything that you are taking in, it's being dumped on your brain, First of all, my child was used to a structured life in school. They had 40 minutes or 30 minutes of a lesson, a break, like they had structure. And so right now they're just unstructured. They're hoping for the best. They are drifting through life. First of all, it fills children with a lot of anxiety when they don't have structure. And also a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurity, and of course also just a lot of temptations to go down the wrong roads, So the moment there is no structure at home, especially during this holiday, where they're just left to their own devices, there's no accountability. So one of the things we've done, like on Google TV, is we've logged in James's account in a way he can come back in the evening and it's like, okay, so this is how much you've spent, time you spent on screen, this is what you watched. So like one evening there was that conversation with our son, who is 7.5. And of course there's that part of accountability, account for this. And of course keep yourself accountable, because remember, one of the things you're trying to do is to still make sure that this is a productive time for your children. This is family memories and moments you're building. I'm just imagining, like, if my child is straying and going and going and going and then sneaks into porn, sneaks into something else, the amount of effort and energy I will also use to get them out of it. And of course the world of possibilities it opens up to them in a negative way. My goodness, it will be another thing that we need to come back from, much as we drifted into, because it was an idle moment. And so just that part of remembering that structure keeps children safe. It makes them feel secure. It makes them feel, in terms of, I am working, I may not be home all time, but they know what they're supposed to do. Just that creates safety for them. In terms of, in the evening we can check in, or even at the end of the week, at the beginning of the week, we can check in. Maybe on Sunday we are like, okay, so what will happen next week? Like, just create that predictability, plan for them, even if you're not home, because this is 2025, we are all busy, working moms and dads, but to create that aspect of structure for the children, to first of all to keep them safe in terms of boundaries, and number 2, to also make sure their time is productive at home, and number 3, to make them useful and helpful, and of course number 4, to make sure that they are contributing to something, because that also improves their self-worth. So the challenge of screen is the brain dump, where you are overly stimulated, continuously stimulated, and of course whatever you are watching is not something you can apply or do. So one of the rules in our family, or probably just something that is good to do, we usually say whatever you're watching should help you do something. It's either teaching you a value that you can apply, or it's a DIY in a way you can do it, or it's something that gives you knowledge, but it needs to have some level of applicability, so that whatever you're watching is a bit educative. Even if it's entertaining, it's still fine. Not like we are legalistic, but then that is probably one of the bottom lines of screen time. In a way, they can be like, oh, I'm doing this. So for example, like Canva is allowed, you can be on the laptop doing Canva, that can still fit on your screen time schedule, because you are creating. So there's that aspect of, you consume, but you also create. But the problem is when the screen time is entirely consuming, and there's nothing wrong with screen time. I mean, we are in 2025, we are in the digital age, we are in AI, like screen time is part of their lives. But how can screen time happen without being overwhelming? And without being consuming, like in terms of it becomes emotionally consuming, because it's mentally and emotionally draining to spend time on screen throughout. And that applies also for us. And I am guilty as charged. There's sometimes they're like, why are you saying we should not be on screen and you're on screen? And I have to really explain myself profusely in terms of what am I doing that must be done right now, you know? And that aspect of, for example, even when we are doing commutes, I will download music that probably they are learning. And the other thing that we did also last week is karaoke, you know, where we have a karaoke night and we actually film you,
Wow.
you know, doing your thing. So you have to practice. So it means that probably you'll spend time on screen. For example, one of the songs we're practicing is What a Beautiful World. And it's a very old song by Anderson. Is it Anderson Armstrong, someone? And so when that is happening, it's still something you're consuming, but you need to produce. And so we'll still do the rehearsals and practice and take a video, and then you will miss it, and then we will laugh, and then we try again. In terms of, it's still screen time, but you're producing. You're not just consuming. I believe that is probably one of the most helpful principles to teach children about screen time. Consume so that you can produce.
Oof, that's really powerful. I mean, those are nuggets we can use because what I sometimes observe, and I am also guilty of it, is when maybe you're waiting for something, probably waiting for the Uber or the cab driver to show up. You know, those little minutes, like 5 minutes, immediately you are scrolling, immediately you are trying to see something, and before you know it, you have spent so much time just being overstimulated with nothing. You know, I mean, for me, I love the fact that you've redefined screen time because now you've shown us that screen time is not bad, but then it needs to be purposeful. That while I'm there, I am learning. While I'm there, there is something that I'm picking and not just scrolling aimlessly. Because sometimes you're scrolling and you even skip on something you can actually learn from, you know, because it's long or because it has so much, you know. So I found myself in those places and just being reminded that I'm not picking this phone unless there's a reason as to why I'm picking it. So I think that's really powerful, especially during this time in the holidays. And I think now that even brings us to the conversation of when is it right for me to even give a phone to my son or my daughter, because at the end of it all, it boils down to that. If I give them when they are not mature enough, what happens? And, you know, what about the concerns of, okay, I need to be in touch with them. I need to communicate with them. So what would you say is the right time for us to give these phones to our children? And also, how do we ensure that we do not just release them to eat and leave them to do whatever they want? How do we create structures so that we are careful not to expose them to things that are not supposed to, you know, even come into the awareness?
So for me, I would say give your child devices when they are ready. And when they are ready is what is the priority in your family in terms of your child readiness. So for example, for us, we feel like our children will be ready when they are 18. So we have that bottom line. And of course, we still have that. But mommy, everyone has a phone in my class. I'm like, you are not everyone. And it's been a conversation that is ongoing. But honestly, when I look at our children not having, for example, their own devices and not having, for example, the way I was saying, we didn't have a proper TV. Like, I mean, we've been married for 13 years. So that is 13 years of, I told you we had a small TV, like a small one that was just the channels, like in terms of aerial, and that's it. Nothing paid, nothing, no Google, no smart TV. And to look at in terms of how they have developed, what is important and what we build our lives around in terms of when we gather, what is our priority. And so the conversations we have, the moments we spend together, for example, when I'm home, you know, my phone will probably be in the bedroom and we are really, really having time. We are really having life together. And of course, I wouldn't say like, I mean, this is family by family in terms of what is important to you. And so there's no right or wrong way of being. But for me, it's that part of asking yourself, when I look at my child, for example, the ones who have screen, has it made them better? And sometimes, yes, I may give them, but is it possible, like some of the parents who've realized, like my child has screen and then it's become actually devil's tool in terms of the deceptions, the lies, the people they are keeping in touch with, you know, the peer pressure and the things they are doing online. And then you're just happy to say, right now you don't need this. That is why I'm saying it's that part of, are they ready? So the moment I feel like maybe I had overestimated this, can I take back that screen and to just say it's not useful for my child right now? And sometimes to also have that privilege, like for example, right now Crystal is on a school trip, and we were like, yeah, you can take the phone, so that you can take photos, you can build memories. We can also keep in touch with you instead of ile style ya mwalimu hebu niongee na Crystal. So just that part of, can I trust you? And of course right now she's in that place of, I can trust you, and of course it doesn't mean that when she comes back she keeps it. It's usually a house phone, in terms of, the way you're saying we can keep in touch, we call them on that phone. It's actually my work phone to some extent. And of course you can also use that phone whenever there is anything, for example googling a recipe. And of course we also have a laptop, my work laptop, that is usually at home most of the times when I'm not using it away. And so it's just that part of asking yourself, is my child ready? And of course, sometimes when I feel like it's not serving them well, am I able to also retract on that? And to just say that right now, this is not a life-giving space.
Yeah.
That is why sometimes even having the screen curfews, and sometimes to even take it away as a privilege of, I think we need to take away these screens. Yeah, because wherever you are going online is not life-giving. The people you're keeping in touch with are not life-giving. But at the same time, there's that aspect of asking yourself, in the long run of things, what are we compromising by them having a screen? So one of the things you remember, I think I'd mentioned a while ago about research that was done. Was it like, right now we are in 2025, was it in it was before COVID, around 2018, where they did a brain mass of someone in 19th century and a 5-year-old in the 20th century. And they were saying the brain mass of a patient in Asylum like 100 years ago, and the brain mass of a 5-year-old, checked, all factors in terms of a research, was actually looking the same.
Oh my.
A patient who was in Asylum, so that was someone who is considered crazy in the 19th century. And then a child who is 5 years old. And it's because this child is overstimulated in terms of, they are always on screen. They are always, in a way, this child even has anxiety and almost panic attacks when they don't have screen. When the power goes off, how does your child behave? When the phone is flat on battery, how do they behave? When they have to be somewhere where they cannot access a screen or the internet is not working, how do they behave? And of course, when you look at that child, they have a withdrawal syndrome of someone who is addicted. So then that means that my child doesn't need it. It's actually doing more harm than good. And of course, this is very perceptive. I usually say parenting is perceptive. And if every time we are inquiring of the Lord on asking him, what are you doing in my child's life right now? And how can I come alongside it?
Yeah.
What are they struggling with? Where do they need to grow? And sometimes, the Lord is so kind, he can be like, give them a tablet. He's that nice. He's that kind. God is not that legalistic father, but sometimes it may be like, you are overdoing it and you need to step back. And so I believe it's perceptive. And if we can inquire of the Lord on everything, the Bible says, if he knows the number of the hairs on my head, then he's totally sold out.
Yeah.
He's totally invested in my well-being and the well-being of my children. And so I can inquire of him on everything, including screen time, including, should my child have a phone or not? That is something to pray about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because God knows.
He knows.
Yeah,
He's
knows.
all-knowing, he's all-wise. And you see, the problem is that sometimes I also feel like we are in an age of affordability where we can afford anything for our children.
True.
And sometimes that is a curse in itself, because the ones who cannot afford, these are not usually things they even bargain about.
Even how we are.
Because me, I have Katululu, so
Yeah.
what are we talking about whether my child should be on screen or not? They cannot even be on my screen. In this age where with 5 bob you can still access internet, there are people who cannot afford smartphones.
True.
And so it means there are some problems that are not in their family. But now Paps has come to a place where I can spend 20,000, I can, I can access money. And so it means that my temptations are higher. And if I don't
tasks to break down for you, please do reach out to us. The number is 0708 222 323. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, my name is Sharon Aitore Wangenya. Thank you so much for being one of our viewers. We truly honor you and appreciate you. We'd love to know how you're receiving us, how your reception is in terms of the quality of the video and the audio as well. So please scan this QR code and give us your feedback. Thank you and God bless you.
Men on record.
There's nothing as good in this world, Gigi. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
When you have people who will not judge you, people who you can fall back to.
Men on Record is for every man, and here we discuss anything and everything touching on the man. And this one is to help us become the men that God has created us to become in our marriages, in our families, and also in the society at large. So good news, this month of November, we do have a new co-host, and yes, we will be unveiling him in this new month of November. You would want to know who that is? Stay tuned to Men on Record on Hope FM, Hope TV, and across all our social media platforms.
Men on Record, Fridays at 7 p.m. live, exclusively on Hope TV and Hope FM. Men on Record, it's a man thing. These days, the tide pulls harder. We rise early, hustle harder, and keep moving. But even strong men drift when there's nothing holding them. It's time to be anchored. This November, the Sitam Men Joint Leadership invite you to a defining moment. The Anchored Man Men's Conference 2025. Mark your calendar for the 14th and the 15th of November from 8 a.m. at Sitam Karen. 2 powerful days complete with plenary sessions that challenge, worship that renews, and expert-led workshops that tackle sensitive issues and anchor real men in real truth. Featuring the presiding Bishop of Sitam, Bishop Callisto Odede, the Deputy Bishop, Reverend Justus Mugambi, Regional Overseer, Reverend Jotham Munene, the Sitam Men's Patron, Reverend Jesse Mwai, and workshop panelists, Dr. Wahome Ngare, Elder Simon Wafubwa, and Mr. Kingston Ogango. Entry is absolutely free. Register online or at any Sitam assembly near you. See you there.
Back, and of course having a conversation on how to manage our children when they are in the holidays. How do we ensure that we are maximizing the time we have with them so that even when they go back to school come January, they will feel good, they will be full, they will be whole, they will be ready to face the giants of that new term or semester. So that's what we are discussing today, and we have Paps Wanyugi, confidence and wellness coach, breaking it down for us. So I think there is a lot. I mean, I feel like there is so much that we can talk about with regards to this particular topic. Probably we will have a whole different dimension of a topic another time. But today, let us also cover the aspect of, you know, sometimes when children come from the holidays, we are probably quick to think of what we can do during the holidays and the activities we can take up. But sometimes these children have wounds from their school that we don't really get a chance to talk to them about. So maybe talk about also the importance of being intentional as a parent, and especially with the teenagers. How do I ensure that I'm not missing out on the things that my child is going through, even when they're in holidays, because it can be like an escape that, hey, finally I'm out of school. But what happens when January kicks in? Anxiety begins to build up. So maybe break it down for us as well.
Yeah. I think especially for children who are in boarding school, you know, they've been away for 2-3 months, or even the whole year basically. And especially for a child who also went to boarding school this year. And number one, there is usually that room for small check-ins, you know, in terms of how was school. And remember that if I had not built a relationship before, it doesn't mean it will kick in right now, because right now they're even more distant. And so sometimes I usually think, if you're feeling like there's any concern in your child, number one, sometimes maybe behavioral. It's just like there's something off. You know, maybe they are reactive, or they are anxious, or they are withdrawn than they usually are. Then just probe. And if you feel like they're not opening up to you, keep on getting help. You know, I actually love one mom whose child I'll be meeting this week, who is like, they are unusually quiet. For the past 2 years, I've just been observing. They're more quiet. Every time they're just like, I'm fine. But I'm realizing they've lost joy. They are more detached. You know, there is no shame in actually feeling like my child is not okay, and it's not okay. I usually say you'll rather poke and there's nothing, you know, than wait and then another 5 years, it's something explosive, you know. So just check them, observe them. And of course, that means that I will need to spend time being home. And then the other thing that I usually think, especially for busy parents, you know, get help with house chores, so that the little time you have, you're actually focusing on the kids. You know, and I know it's not practical. Sometimes the finances are tight and everything. But if you can, you know, I would rather my children don't eat sausages and all those extra things, and then we get even a day bag to do the chores even twice a week, so that when I get home, I'm actually focusing on my children. Let's pre-cook during the weekends, so that we don't have to cook every day. And then when I come home in the evening, I actually focus on FaceTime. And that is why now we need to eliminate screen. Because if every time we are gathering and fellowshipping around a screen, every time we are on Netflix, every time I wouldn't be able to see something is off. And so we need to have those times, even if it's weekends, but make time to actually observe your children, to actually have conversations where you can pick vibes, to be able to see those behavioral changes, and then probe in. And of course, even for the smaller ones, I used to be that child who during the holiday, okay, and then towards the last weeks, I start panicking and being anxious because I didn't like school, especially when I was in high school. Because I was bullied in high school. I had these crazy friends in high school, and so towards the opening dates, I used to be so anxious. My stomach is tight. I used to dread going to school, and I will actually go towards the, you know, the way the check-in time is 2. I'll just be roaming in town. I'll still leave early, but then roam around town, because my school was not so far. I'll actually get in just last minute. And then when I get there, I am so anxious, I'm so worried. But it's because I never had that outlet to be able to discuss what's going on in my life. And of course, it blew up badly. You know, when I was in Form 3, I was a suicidal teen and everything. But it doesn't have to get there. And I usually say emotions escalate over time. Because, for example, even a child who is bored, they are sad, but the sad is down here.
That's true.
Yes, I'm bored, it's because hauna plot. Yeah, you don't have anything to do with your life, and so you're feeling sad about that. And then now the sad that is deep is depression. You can't get out of bed, you can't comb your hair. So if, number one, if you notice there is behavioral change in your child, you notice there is emotional changes in your child. And again, you also notice the interactions has changed. Sometimes you'll even realize the sibling rivalry has heightened in your house. That is a concern.
It is.
You're like, why is everyone fighting so harder? Why is she so aggressive? Why is he, you know, so condescending? That is still something to probe. And I usually say there is no shame in seeking professional help. You know, in terms of get your child coaching, get them therapy to just check in. You know, it doesn't mean that they are crazy. It just means that you're a concerned parent. And so that is number one. And then, of course, number two, make sure your home is safe place.
Yeah.
It's a chilled place. You know, for me, I usually think like there's a day I came and I just found the house had been rearranged. You know, give them also that opportunity to recreate your home. You know, to make turn it into an inspiring space. You know, declutter your home. That is actually one of the things we listed down on the activities we need to do this holiday. Declutter so that more is less. You know, the frustration of looking for dresses in a pile of dresses that are not being worn. Actually, that is the situation in our house right now. You know, where we've outgrown, like I think for the past 1 year, everybody has had a growth spurt where clothes are not fitting, but then we like them. So I was like, if you don't declutter, I'll declutter when you're in school. Then you'll come and find I got rid of everything.
Yeah.
And of course, I think I'm also a hoarder to some extent. But that part of, can we make our homes inspiring spaces, creative spaces?
Yeah.
You know, can we also create activities that can help our children just release emotions? You know, can we bake? Can we dance to music? Can we just have fun?
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes you can initiate that in terms of, can we do things that are also adrenaline? Because sometimes stress is stuck in the body. Let's assume there's nothing major, but the child is just going through that. For example, like our daughter right now, she's just done with an exam, that high pressure anxiety of the whole year. How can she vent it, because it's been pented up. And so can you probably go and do zip lining? Can you jog? Can you get out? So that whatever is stuck in the body can also be released. And so look for outlets for any stresses your children may have built up just because of life. I mean, life is stressful without any major incidents.
That is true.
And then, of course, there may be trauma.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes also look at around your help in terms of, are they treating your children well, especially during this time that they are all home.
Yes.
Do you have proper boundaries with the house? House help, do you know do they know their boundaries? You know, are they also life-giving in terms of how they show up? One of the things that we require of our helps is that they need to do Bible studies with our kids when we are not home.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, so for us, we usually do that in the briefing of employment. Yes. So there's been one time we had one who was like, "Mi ni Muislamu." We were like, "Yo, you lied." Yeah, but you see, now when it comes to values,
Yeah.
because initially she was like, naitwa Fatuma, but I'm a Christian. And then when the chores came in terms of,
Bible
if we are
study.
late, you do Bible study with our kids. Bible study happens at 7:30. Yeah, that is where she drew the line. And then, of course, we released her because we're like, we can't have a Muslim household. That is our own preference in terms of our values. And so that part of, are they scoring with you to the same direction, or are they also playing against you?
Yeah.
Because remember, when boundaries are not being enforced, our children are getting away with things. We said screen time should not happen beyond this time, but they're having it because the house help is too nice.
Yeah.
And so what happens eventually? They're actually scoring. They're scoring against you instead of scoring with you.
Oof.
And so it's important to also check that so that it's not a weak link, especially during a long holiday. And of course, that can also be a source of, the way we are saying, of traumatic incidences happening in your home, because there's nobody who is watching. Yeah, there's no vigilance.
Oof, wow. Perhaps the wisdom is just wisdoming. That is so powerful. I mean, and it goes in line with just what we were actually discussing yesterday about building the faith of your children with one Pastor Brenda from here. She was saying, even if you're not there, even if you're not in the house, can the children continue to read the word?
Very true.
Because sometimes you say we don't have time, but it's not a must for you to be there for them to grow in the faith. So there's also that part, you know.
Because you want God to be their God.
Exactly.
And the Bible says they will write the name of the Lord on their foreheads.
Yes.
And say, I belong to God. And so getting there means that there's also that intentionality of the Bible study happens whether we are home or not.
Or not.
And our children
I
know
love
that.
Yeah.
Even just the two of them, the 7-year-old and the 11-year-old, they know that Bible study needs to happen.
Yes.
Do you know, yesterday we were coming from town with my son. You know, we went to visit my mom. We came back home late. And then I'm like, when we get home, the first thing you do, you take shower. You know, and then we've already had dinner, so we will watch a movie. He was like, no, before we take shower, we do Bible study. I was like, bro, it's 9:30. Dad is even asleep.
Yeah.
But you can imagine now that is a value to him in terms of, we do Bible study.
It must happen.
Yeah, like it's hardwired. And then right now we are now introducing Bible study in the morning because you are home anyways. You know, spend an hour, you know, with the Lord. Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, there's a lot that we can learn from that model, because I think some parents think maybe this is not something I can do because I meet the busy schedules, and maybe we can get a little bit practical. Talk to a parent or to parents who could be watching and they feel like I barely have time for myself. Morning to evening, I am busy with my 9 to 5 job. When I come back home, I'm exhausted. I have assignment. You know, I'm a Christian, and for me, I've left the spiritual life to the church. Bora ninawapeleka Sunday school. How can they navigate through it and ensure that they don't lose their children in the midst of the busyness of life?
Yeah, yeah. So number one, first of all, don't do anything from guilt.
Yeah.
You know, the mommy guilt and the daddy guilt is real.
Yes.
You know, and of course, that is the work of the enemy to make us feel like we are not doing enough and we are not enough.
Yep.
Yeah, because remember, it's something that should be joyful. Journeying with the Lord, it's something that is joyful and willful.
Yeah.
And so number one, first of all, get rid of the guilt, and then ask yourself, what can I do even with 5 minutes and 10 minutes?
Right.
You know, sometimes even it starts with tuck your child in bed and pray for them. And I usually say, instead of telling them probably bedtime stories and reading about Cinderella, how about probably reciting a scripture? You know, like try to put it in. Tell a Bible story. You know, probably share where you feel what God has done in our life. Sometimes we just share when we are tired in the evening. We're like, what are you grateful for? Where have you seen God in your life? How has God used you this week? You know, those are actually random conversations you can have with kids, regardless of how your schedules are. And sometimes we've actually done it on phone. You know, I'm at work, and then during that Bible study time, I can actually call and we can pray over the phone.
Yeah.
The other thing is also get something that can happen without you. So one of the things I usually recommend is a very fun YouTube videos called Bible on the Move. Bible on the Move. I mean, it's just people telling Bible stories in very fun and modern way.
Yeah.
And of course, it's American, so some of the jokes I still don't get them. But Bible on the Move was actually something that we did for quite a while. In a way, it can actually run us for 3 weeks. You know, of every day doing a different Bible story, Bible on the Move. The other thing that we also did is Bible project, where we did summaries of every book in the Bible. Those were 66 days, you know, of Genesis. And it's less than 10 minutes kind of a video telling the story of Genesis. And then, of course, after every Bible study, we always ask, what have you learned? What have you learned? What have you learned? All of us share. And then 2 people pray.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
How much time does that take? 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, we take 30 minutes on our Bible study. And then sometimes we're like, okay, I think that was interesting. Can we watch the story of Samson or someone else? And then now that will be a detour into a different direction.
Yes.
And the other thing that also you can do is take communions. Just covenant.
I love
Covenant
that.
together.
Yeah.
Communions have been part of our family. I think right now we are thrown off the bandwagon. There's a time James was so serious we were doing it every Friday. And then there are times we'll do it monthly. And it's just that part of do this in remembrance of me.
Yeah.
You know, to remind our children we are in a covenant with Christ, even as a family.
Yes.
You know, and of course when you think about the little pockets of time, it's for you to make sure that you are creating structures that can work without you. So for example, after we've figured out Bible project will run for 66 days, then whether I'm here or not, jana mulifanya Mark, kesho tunafanya Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, you know, like let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'll miss out. Sometimes I don't even catch up on what I missed out on, but our children, they are growing into it and they know where to find it, so it's accessible. So one of the things we also did was to put Crystal in charge of our Bible studies. So when you delegate it to the child, then they are more responsible than even you are.
Yes.
They're the ones who tell you, oh, by the way, today we are doing Joshua, you know, today we are doing Judges. And it's because they're the ones who are keeping track on behalf of the family. So if your child is above 8 years old, please let them take more responsibility even for the Bible study so that there is ownership. Because this should not be mommy or daddy's thing. It's actually our thing.
Yeah.
And then it's also them. Like our daughter was recently, what did she figure out from the Bible? She was so shocked that Rahab was in the lineage of Jesus. Like she told me like 4 times, Rahab in the lineage of Jesus.
Yes.
What? I can't believe it. And you see that moment, then you're like, can you by the way research a bit more about Rahab? You know, every time we just keep on going deeper in God. Because remember, faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God.
That's true.
So you'll keep on looping around the same things, but every time it's being reinforced. Every time it's becoming a value, it's becoming a system in them in a way. They will more likely do this with their children when they've taken ownership.
Yeah,
But if it was you they were doing it for, they will leave it in your house.
that's true.
But the moment there is ownership, in a way, they know that this is something that is important to me as well, not just for mommy. And of course, you remember when you allow them to research and to choose Bible study things, then they even own it more. Even the Bible project. And there's even time we are watching Heroes of Faith and what happened to them, and people who are martyrs.
Yeah.
What happened to them. Crystal is the one who goes down researching and comes up with such things, and then we include them in our family schedules. So what happens? And of course, right now, Yaniv is now the Bible study teacher this holiday because of that Bible that he's supposed to read through. Then we are like, please take us through. So right now, we are all sitting at the feet of Rabbi. We actually call him Rabbi Yaniv because his name is Jewish.
I know.
So we're like, Rabbi, so what are we studying
so good.
today?
Yeah.
And you see that ownership
Yes.
then helps them to integrate it as a value. In a way, this is me. This is for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's no longer about mommy and daddy. It's actually something that is, God is becoming my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really good. I mean, so much we can learn from that and just how intentional you are in your home. And that's to tell people that, by the way, they can do it. It's possible. And before we wind up, there's one question here that I think we need to talk about. How do I keep my children away from bad influence with neighbors, the children and all, yet playing together is also critical. How do I also guard that space? Yeah.
One of the things that we have done over time, especially like even in our hood, is to look at how can you influence those children. You know, like for example, sometimes they'll come to our house and we're like, we don't use that language.
Yeah.
We don't, like, in terms of, I actually want those children. Because remember, I may not be where they are, but when they're in my space, I can add value to them.
That's true.
Remember, these children are coming from different homes with different values. And why has God placed us there? We are a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. We are salt, we are light, you know? And so it's that part of asking yourself, still that question of, God, why are we here? Why are we in this neighborhood? How can you use us? How can we influence the kids here? So like one of the things we are planning to do in December is actually for Crystal to, she's written a book. You remember we mentioned Crystal has authored a book, and we were like, can we do a Bible study for the kids in this neighborhood? You know, we just gather them together. Of course, we're looking for a venue outside our home because our house is not so big. And then we can just gather all the children, buy snacks for them, and then she can take them through a Bible study. Because it's also about us understanding. It's not just about us protecting ourselves, you know, and keeping off the wolves. It's also us becoming God's light where we live. So it's important to ask yourself, why are we here? And how can God use us in small ways to influence these kids?
Yes.
So for example, for us, during this Bible study in the morning, we allow the kids who are in our apartments, so they can come and they can watch. Sometimes we'll even like, by the way, we'll be having Bible study at 9 or at 10. Do you want to come in? And then they will be there. And then we'll still ask them, we'll engage them, so what have you learned? What have you learned?
Yes.
So that part of understanding that and even praying for them. Yeah, there's sometimes they just come together and we're like, can we pray? And then we'll be like, yeah, bless her, you know, and we'll even we'll be like, so what do you want us to pray for?
Yes.
Nice clothes. We'll even pray for the nice clothes, you know, in terms of let God become attractive to the children around you. And of course, give them mandazis, give them like whatever we are making. Sometimes we'll even make nice things and then they're like, can I take this? I'm like, yeah, please carry it and go and take to all of them in their homes.
Yeah.
In terms of that part of show God's love, because that is the bottom line of what we are called to do.
That's
in
true.
terms of influence, if I have raised my children well and they know what we stand for, then I will not be afraid that if they go out there, God can still use them and they can actually influence. And of course, the other part of the bad influence is still to have boundaries in terms of what are the non-negotiables, even when they go out. For example, you can't go into other people's homes. For us, we have that principle, you play outside, you know. Don't go into other people's houses, you know, play outside. And of course, the other thing is also when you're playing, mindful of language. They also know words we don't use. So sometimes also when the other kids use them, can you correct them? You know, instead of just letting it slide and feeling awkward.
Yes.
You know, encouraging your children to be light and to influence, not just to self-protect. Yeah, because I can't keep my children locked up for 2 months.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing, and a good way even to wind up our conversation. I mean, I'm so blessed by this conversation because my own son is small, about 8 months, but I am just looking forward to the time we can sit down and literally break the bread of the word together, to talk about God, to see them grow into even what you're describing, that they can lead the Bible study, that they can pray. I mean, it's something to look forward to. And honestly, this conversation is the kind, you know, you say, I just preserve it in my heart for when that time comes, because I've already started now, even though kananiangalianga tu hivi.
Oh, yeah, you're doing well.
But you know, you
Well
keep doing it, you
Yeah.
keep going, because that word is getting into them, praying over them, it's getting into them and into their spirit. So thank you so much, Paps, for just opening our eyes to how we can maximize this holiday time and use it as an opportunity to build up their faith, so that by the time they go back to school, they're different. These 2 months can be a time of transformation. It can be a time of bonding. It can be a time of connecting with these children in a way we have never done before. So I believe it's important, and you know, we have to take advantage of it. And it's good we had this conversation early. You know, see ati huko December already washa mess ati sasa ndio tunafanya damage control. We've had it now so that we can be able to, you know, build them up. But maybe I would give you a minute to just let the people know, how can they reach you? How can they contact you?
Yeah. So, like I've said, we
Yes.
have a camp that is coming up end of November. And I'll really encourage you to sign up your kids. We have the
Yes.
preteens on 22nd, and then we have the teens on 29th that
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah, and if you want to reach out to me, 0720433833. That is my number, and you can call me or SMS.
Yeah.
I'm not on WhatsApp at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, there's also Reconfidence with paps.com. Yeah, you can go to my website and see all the work we are doing. And we have amazing programs for kids
Yes.
this holiday. Some of them are also virtual. And of course, that is also a nice way of encouraging the kids on digital space. And shall be having bold boundaries, having conversations on boundaries, having conversations on drugs with children. And of course, also having conversations on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll encourage you to plug in on all those places. And of course, we also have events for women.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we encourage all the moms and ladies out there to also sign up. Yeah, reach out to me and I'll share more details.
Beautiful. And maybe just in a few words, praise God, I am learning a lot. At what age can one start Bible study with children? And she's saying her daughter is 5.5. She's one boy from Nyeri.
Yeah, so you've already started at 8 months. I just say start them from the word go. Start them when they are in the stomach. Start them when they are breastfeeding. Sing hymns to them, you know, and of course also read the Bible to them. Start Bible stories. A 5-year-old, remember they are in school, they are preschool, so there is age appropriate, especially pictorial things.
Yeah.
Storytelling is also something they really enjoy, and so that is still a good age. And of course something that is visual. Yeah, there's those cartoons that are simpler in terms of their illustrative. They are less than 3 minutes, and sometimes even 2 minutes cartoons, especially on Bible stories. You know, if you think about from Genesis to Revelation, there's always a story that they can learn. So just think about the major stories of the Bible and start taking them through in a very interesting, and of course short span of a 5-year-old is a bit short. Keep it short and sweet. And of course just allow them to pray, like teach them to pray. Yeah, allow them to say their 2 minutes prayer. Let them pray for their clothes and, you know, pray for something that is not related.
Yeah.
You know, but teach them to pray so that they learn to talk to God early. But Bible study should be started when the child is in the womb.
As soon as possible.
Like, even worship is part of Bible study when they're listening to music.
Yeah.
You know, so start them off as soon as you can. So long as you know they exist, start breathing God's life into them.
It's true.
And then, of course, keep on thinking of age-appropriate ways to keep on engaging them, because even the mode of engaging a teenager and a toddler is different. Sometimes the teenager leading the whole thing is more interesting. Like they can lead the smaller ones. That is still part of, they do kids things, but at the same time they are doing them in in a more interesting way where they don't feel like they're being treated like children. So just think of an interesting way to engage them. Young adults can volunteer.
Yeah.
You know, even in kids' church, they can volunteer in camps, they can volunteer in children homes to just do something like make sure your children are consuming so that they can produce.
Yes.
Even when it comes to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them consume so that they can produce.
That's really good. I think, Wamboi from Nyeri, you've gotten your answer. If maybe you had not begun, it means you should start immediately.
Oh, yeah, please
Because
go for it.
as long as they know how to speak, especially, they can speak the word of
Even
God.
to lead songs.
You know? Yeah.
You know, yes, Jesus loves me. Let them do those actions. Yeah. And of course, allow children to participate. Don't make Bible study passive.
Yes, that's
For
true.
whatever age.
Yeah. So Wamboi, go for it and begin to teach them in a way they will understand. If they're in school, you can't tell me they cannot understand the Bible.
They
Of
will.
course
And
they
are
understand.
interested, they are right. Yeah.
Yeah, they are ripe for that. So Wamboi, this is just your cue that if you had not begun, please do start immediately. And I'm sure that that child is really going to grow in a beautiful way. Just the other day, I was interviewing another guest and was telling us that the 5-year-old, like this boy is just 5 years, and he prays to God, like, give me wisdom beyond my age.
Wow.
Imagine at 5 years, this child has an awareness of that.
Phenomenal.
So that means that began when they were much even smaller. So what you're saying is true. When they're in the womb, that's when you start. So you keep at it
Yeah.
so that you don't start figuring it out when they're already older. You begin from the root. So thank you so much, Paps. May God bless you. Maybe just repeat your number one more time for someone who maybe could not get it.
Oh, so my number is 0720 and then 433 833. Yeah, that is my number. You can call or text.
All right, beautiful. And we've come to the end of the show, unfortunately, because this has been so beautiful. I mean, I just feel my heart, it's just full, just having this conversation with Paps, who's full of wisdom. So thank you so much for tuning in, for being part of it, and even sending your questions. May God bless you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And tomorrow, by the way, Beyond the Melody, we'll be having Eric Smith. Most of you probably know him from that song, Patakatifu Pako. I will not sing. But yeah, Eric Smith will be coming tomorrow right here on Beyond the Melody. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have yourselves a blessed day.